Welcome back to Ask the Oracle. What I experienced on the 9/9 auspicious number was a vision inside of the sun as it was setting on the western sky. I looked out the window and saw something I've never seen before in my life, and I knew that this was it wasn't just a sign for me, especially once I kind of put the visual together and made sense of the symbolic image that showed itself within the sun. And it was the flower of life pattern lattice in the sun. Today I am sharing a channeled message I picked up regarding the 144 fractals of Christ consciousness, the seeds of Christ consciousness, and how that affects us now and where we are. I am your host, Davina St. Clair. If you don't know me, I am a intuitive, let's see, what's the word? How do I want to describe myself? Spiritual mentor, teacher, guide for those who are looking for it. And if you just need confirmation, what you already know, that's basically what I'm here to do. I'm sharing wisdom and things that come to me as they come to me now, because I realized it's not just a message for me, it's for all of you in this community. So this time I have my thoughts on paper. I've got my papers. No, I did not use AI to create my thoughts on paper, but I did go in and ask AI what it thought about the symbol after I already created and channeled what I know I need to share. So I'm your hostess, Davina St. Clair. You can call me a feline cat lady if you want, from the Blu-ray collective of the crazy cat ladies collective. Well, actually, I found out that I have a altered version of me in a parallel world. I witnessed in the sky was on September 9th during the total eclipse. Before that, the total eclipse occurred in Pisces. And I didn't put any of this together until I was channeling for today's message to figure out what's the message for the collective regarding what I saw in the sky. And so when I did that, it was all coming in. So I got to share this with you. Okay, guys. So it felt kind of weird. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, the sun, anomalies, the strange things in the sky where you're at locally. But what happened is it felt like the sun had been in the same spot for an hour and a half, 45 minutes somewhere. And then, I thought, well, that's weird. It looks like it just jumped 2 feet up from the horizon where it was. And I'm like, no, that couldn't happen. That's bizarre. I didn't just see that. And then it looked like it was blinking at me like a star, like it was trying to get my attention. And I walked away and I'm like, did I just really see that? So then I came back to the window because I was going to walk away. I was busy, we're always doing something, right? I was busy doing something. And I'm like, wait a minute, I swear the sun just jumped to get my attention, which is weird in itself. And then it like pulsed, like a light beam, got bright. Like I've never seen it do that. It like amped up to brightness enough to get my attention. Go back to the window and I'm looking out the window. And it looks like it's not yet time to do sun gazing, because as I mentioned, the sun just went pshoosh, like huge, like bigger than it ever was on the horizon, right? Okay, so as I'm watching the sun, all of a sudden there's a pattern in it. And it opened from this deep purple and then indigo circle. And in the circle, it was moving and beaming and radiating light. But on the outside of the circle, it was deep purple and indigo met. It almost looked like it formed a new light code or blue spectrum that we aren't used to seeing. It was extremely vivid, like radiant, vivid, more so than normally I'm used to seeing a rainbow every day because I have sun catchers and crystal prisms, and they're a light purple, like a light violet. This purple was so intense, and I was looking and I'm like, it's moving. And then I kind of got to slow down, and looked and saw the flower of life pattern and the ribbons. The flower of life is like these connecting nodule points with ribbons, and the ribbons were moving. They were the dark purple too, and light, and it was a rainbow, but it was more vivid dark colors than usually the pastel colors. It was really cool. And it was moving. It was like ribbons moving, and the light was the bright sunny yellow white light was shining in the middle, and it was radiating, pulsing like maybe like what a UFO would do, the pulsing lights like a star. And I thought I was seeing things, so I called my daughter and I said, hey, come here, I want you to see what I'm seeing, because I think my eyes are playing tricks on me right now. I'm seeing stuff that I don't know what I'm seeing. I've never seen anything like this before. So she comes and sees it too, and she saw, because she's never seen a flower of life pattern, she didn't have that way of describing when I was trying to explain to her that's the flower. She didn't know what that was. She didn't have a reference, the flower of life. So that's the picture that I'm going to show here, is what that looks like. So you can kind of see, except for picture it with a dark purple indigo rainbow coming from those colors and down, and then the middle portion is white after it's surrounded by golden light. And when she went off, I knew it was there. I was still watching it, and shortly, not too far after that, it turned into a double version of itself, one on top of the other. So it was two of the same pattern within the sun setting. And I believe that's even significant, the duality and the teams and the things that we're going to need to do now moving forward from where we are. I believe that the 144 crysted seeds are fractals of the Christ consciousness has activated, and so that's what I want to share with you. So give me some love if you made it this far. I need your help. My channel's not showing up in the algorithms, and it could be my own fault for being inconsistent, or it could also be the person that got really pissed off at me and decided to give me a thumbs down on all my videos out of spite, and that person was a family member. I love your support. When in shamanic wisdom, symbols and signs that show up everywhere within the animal kingdom, dreams. So as a message, it's a message, a messenger. I just want to share with you here that anyone can receive messages. It just doesn't matter if you want to accept them and believe them, decipher them, and, go a little deeper with it, right? I've been experiencing some weird fluxes in time around the sun setting since June. I felt like there was a weird slowdown of time, and what I heard was, and I wrote this down, was that we all should be celebrating a milestone because we made a quantum leap. I think I've shared this in another video recently. Who is we? Well, I believe the fractals of the consciousness, the divine seated light codes of Christ consciousness, that all of us are tuning into a quantum leap in humanity. And those who can assimilate the light codes and make use of it to their own benefit can grow exponentially in their awareness and their abilities and become what I believe I've heard others mention before, the superhuman. I think that maybe I might be wrong, but I believe there's someone named Bruce Lipton, or is it not Bruce Lipton? There's a teacher who has a book about becoming superhuman. Dispenza, perhaps, I believe. I'm not sure. I think that that's what I saw represented. Because you think about the fractals, Tesla even was obsessed, and people watch these videos about 369 and the manifestations. But think about that activation. That was a crystalline pulsar from the star itself. The superstar in our galaxy is our sun that gives all life. The sun. It is a symbol of the return of the sun. Now remember, there were other times in history where stars presented major turning points and events. And so what I gathered as I was writing today about this was that we had just had the Pisces total eclipse of the moon a couple of days before this. I believe the eclipse was on the 7th. I didn't witness it. The energies were auspicious, and it's been that way. It still kind of is. I still feel a shift today. Today's the 13th. I believe that what I witnessed was a sign or an omen about Christ consciousness returning. The sun has returned. The glorious sun, S-O-N-S-U-N. And I believe what that meant is that this is the top part of the age of Aquarius. The Pisces age is officially closed with the moon. The total eclipse in Pisces, by the way. No coincidence there. I believe that was the sign for all of us to know we've made it to the age of Aquarius now. We're there. There's no turning back. And what this might mean is as a collective, when we're aware of ourselves, our fractals of ourselves within this spiral or flower of light, flower of life. I totally forgot about the flower of life until recently. It's been coming back and to my awareness. So that's what I feel was really kind of cool about it, as well as wasn't a image that I typically spend a lot of time meditating on, but now I think I might. Now that this happened, I might. I wondered about, like, what does this mean though? The evolutionary jump for humanity. That's what it is. It means that we're accessing higher codes, perhaps our DNA, the strands. The flower of life represents the DNA as well. And it upgrading into the 6th root race, or I believe I was reading a book that was talking about how the Aztecs believe that we're in the present 5th root race. For some reason, I thought that we already made it to the 7th root race. maybe there's a few that have made it to another level of human ascension. So don't take what needs to be left behind, whether it's a belief system about yourself, about others, the world you live in, that isn't serving your higher good. Let it go with the Piscean age and the old belief system that no longer is serving anybody. We know what that looks like, right? We know what's no longer good for us. Let's not fool ourselves any longer. Let's tap into our authentic Christ seed that's growing and developing and becoming this blossom of abundant possibilities. Why limit yourself when you are the return of the Christ consciousness? His Christ, the original Christ construct, is already seated in your DNA, in the grid, the nodules, the nodes on the planet where you're closest to the power center. A lot of the sensitive light bearers, those are going to be people who are drawn to these energetic openings where there's more consciousness, higher consciousness, and they're going to feel like they have to get away from the lower vibration because it's so uncomfortable. We can't even handle being around that too long. Like, we don't want to have to explain ourselves. We don't want to be around a bunch of judgmental people that hate you because of ignorance. We want to be where we can thrive, where we find others that are kind of like us. You can go out and meet cool, funky people and make new friends because it's easy because there's a bunch of you. So that's the best way to describe it. So what I am sensing is that the new Aquarian age is going to be calling all the artists, the creators, the business entrepreneurs, the thinkers, the innovators, the collaborators to build something amazing, whether it's art in your local community, it's the gardens, teach kids how to grow their own food, connect to the higher self-consciousness, your intuition. Tap in with intention, willpower, and focus. Choice point 2025. Do you want to continue going down the destructive Piscean age agenda, time loop, stuckness, karmic loop that has got us to this really ugly place in society that's so gross that we don't got to get in that? Hell no. That ain't my shit. You figure that out. I'm just going to go over here. I don't know exactly where that is yet, but I'm creating it with all the other fractals. That's where you come in. You creating what you want for the new Aquarian age. So think about this. The ripple effects of this grid of consciousness that's raised its awareness to the Christ within, the power that you have when you have this awareness that you can be like your best master teacher. For some of you, it might be Christ, otherwise known as Jesus, Yeshua, or it could be another Buddha. But whatever you believe, you're probably familiar, religious or not, that there is a crysted imprint of the divine in all of us. All we got to do is set the intention to connect daily to yourself. Don't let the distractions tear you away from yourself. What do you want to do? What are your dreams? Whatever you love, do more of it. Dream big. Don't let other people define your dreams. Think about the sun showing up like that for all of you. Not just for me to witness and tell you about it, but man, that is freaking magical. That there's this light that wants to let you know that you are not alone, that there are bunches of you somewhere, multiple versions of us operating in this higher frequency. And now is the time, which by the way, I have to tell you, I channeled some stuff about Apophis. That's going to be another video because it's a little scary, okay? It's a little scary considering what Edgar Casey saw and what I channeled in an automatic writing session. And then I didn't even know about Apophis coming on April 13th, 2029. And then it just happens to sound just like what I channeled in a message that I'll have to figure out how to share at another time. But let's get back to the Flower of Life light codes. I believe this is the point in history where in the Bible it talked about, now I'm not sure who said this, but I believe it was Jesus, or it was somewhere in one of the Gospels or whatever, where the wheat was talking about in this day, and that was foretold when Christ returns, that there will be two people at the well, one will be taken and the other will be left behind. There's also the separating of the wheat from the chaff, the quality from the not quality, and we're talking frequency wise, okay? We're talking about those who are able to utilize the light codes of the sun that's amping up on the planet and raise their vibration to meet the challenge of being a higher version of self, higher self connection. That's what we're talking about, okay guys? It's a choice. You don't have to go on with the age of Aquarius. A person can just decide if they like the Piscean age's way of living to go down with that. But you can't go down with that and go up. I don't believe. It's not what I've been shown as of today. If it changes, I'll let you know. But I don't believe when the splitting occurs that it's one of those choices where you can be in both places. I believe you got to make a choice. Do you want to go up on the human scale and challenge yourself and live a harmonious, happy, joyful life? Or do you want to go down with those who are experiencing their karma and they're destroying themselves with their vibration, low vibration intentions? Intentions is what determines it. And the mind, the ability to stay focused on everything that's positive and glorious when what you see in the world's not so great right now, okay guys? That's where your power lies. Focus. And guess what I wrote in blue ink on November 7th, 2024. In this case, I wrote down, this would make the ripple effect even bigger, right? So whatever work you're doing is going to be magnified. My beloved, you are never alone. It is your mind that plays tricks on you to believe you are unworthy of being loved. Once you realize you are love, that your connection to the light, what I saw in the sun, can never be severed, you will notice more light. That's easy, right? That's not hard. The affirmation, I am radiance. And this is an affirmation that was brought in by the Clare prophets, Elizabeth and Mark, via Saint Germain. And when you feel abandoned by God, it was only you who abandoned yourself. Your connection to all that is cannot be severed. The light of the divine is always available, dancing in radiance in the sun, which that's not what I wrote, I just added that in. But I did put the divine is always there, right? And all you gotta do is plug in and connect every single day with your intention to your inner sun, the light that lives inside of yourself is a fractal. If you made it this far, check out my my website, see what's coming up soon, and maybe we'll join each other next year on an adventure